1. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study, 1932-1972. Imagine going to the doctor for help and realizing decades later that you were never meant to be cured. That's exactly what happened in Alabama, where hundreds of poor African-American men were told they were being treated for bad blood. In reality, researchers were studying how syphilis destroyed the human body without giving them any medication. Even when penicillin became available, they withheld it. They watched. They took notes. They documented deaths for 40 years. It wasn't until 1972 that the truth came out. The outrage that followed reshaped medical ethics forever, giving birth to the modern concept of informed consent. But for the men who suffered, that came too late. 2 Unit 731, 1935-1945. Now travel to Japan, a secret research facility under the Imperial Army, a place that officially never existed, known only as Unit 731. Prisoners, mostly Chinese civilians, were used to test biological weapons and medical procedures. Vivisections were done without anesthesia. Frostbite experiments, chemical burns, diseases deliberately injected. It was cruelty disguised as research. The temperature chambers, the plague bombs, the weaponized pathogens. Almost 10,000 people died inside that facility, and the data, horrifyingly, was later used by multiple nations for scientific advancement. Science didn't just go too far here, it lost its humanity. 3. The MK Ultra Project at 1953-1973. In the early years of the Cold War, paranoia turned into experimentation. The CIA launched a secret project called MK Ultra, aiming to control the human mind. Volunteers, prisoners, hospital patients, many of them unaware, were given LSD, sedatives, electroshocks, and sensory deprivation to see if their behavior could be manipulated. The idea: create a truth serum or even a programmable assassin. Records were destroyed in the 1970s, but fragments revealed how far it went. Some subjects lost their memory completely. Others suffered permanent psychosis. For 2 decades, science was used not to understand the mind, but to break it. 4. The Monster Study, 1939. In Iowa, 1939, a speech pathologist wanted to test how criticism affects children. 22 orphans were divided into 2 groups. One was praised for speaking well. The other was constantly criticized, told they stuttered, even if they didn't. Within weeks, those children began to stutter for real. Some withdrew completely and never recovered their confidence. The study proved something chilling. Words can alter the brain, and sometimes psychological harm leaves scars deeper than any physical wound. 5. The Stanford Prison Experiment, 1971. You've probably heard of this one. A mock prison built in a university basement. 24 students, half guards, half prisoners. It was supposed to last 2 weeks. It ended in 6 days. Within hours, the guards became authoritarian. The prisoners rebelled, broke down, and begged to leave. Even the lead researcher, Philip Zimbardo, got lost in his own role as prison superintendent. No one was physically forced, yet everyone suffered. The experiment showed how quickly normal people can turn cruel when given unchecked power. And that's the terrifying part. It didn't reveal monsters. It revealed us. 6. The Aversion Therapy Experiments, 1950s, 1980s. For decades, psychologists believed they could cure homosexuality. In hospitals across the world, patients were subjected to electric shocks, chemical nausea, or visual conditioning, paired with same-sex imagery. They weren't criminals. They weren't sick. They were simply human beings forced into suffering for who they loved. These so-called treatments didn't just fail, they destroyed lives. Even today, survivors describe them as torture under the name of science. It's a reminder that the worst experiments aren't always hidden in secret labs. Sometimes they happen in plain sight. 7. The Guatemala Syphilis Experiments, 1946-1948. After World War II, you'd think humanity had learned its lesson. It hadn't. In Guatemala, U.S. researchers infected prisoners and mental health patients with syphilis and gonorrhea without their consent to test antibiotics. More than 1,300 people were infected. Many died untreated. The study was buried for decades and only exposed in 2010. By then, almost everyone involved, both subjects and scientists, was gone. All that remained were the records and the silence of history. 8. The Soviet sleep experiments, alleged 1940s. Not every dark story is proven, but some are too haunting to ignore. In the 1940s, Soviet researchers reportedly tested a gas that would keep subjects awake for 15 days straight. What happened next became a modern legend. Subjects losing their minds, turning violent, self-destructing. Whether real or myth, it represents a truth we've seen repeated. Deprive a person of rest, hope, or light, and they stop being human. Each of these experiments began with the same excuse for science. But science without empathy becomes just another form of power. Every ethical rule we have today, informed consent, voluntary participation, humane treatment, exists because of them. Progress is important, but when knowledge demands suffering, it stops being progress. The question isn't how far science can go, it's how far it should. If you like this video, subscribe for more, because next time, we'll go even deeper into the dark side of science.